Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to an exciting 50th episode of the Triple B Black and Gold Dynasty show on the Triple B Experience YouTube channel. I'm so excited because I didn't think I'd actually get 50 of these, but it's 50 this season alone. And like I said, we're only going to do Wednesday nights, and we were running a little bit behind, a little bit. That's okay. Things happen. But also, too, on this 50th episode, I have a special guest. He's been on the show a couple times. We also do some mega cast where his podcast is the Steelers Realm podcast, where they all talk Pittsburgh Steelers. And I threw the invitation out to him and his crew to come on this evening to talk Steeler football because there's a lot of news. Even though we're not in a Super Bowl, which I wish we were, because it'd be great for 2 weeks to celebrate. But there's tons and tons of Steeler stuff going on, Steeler news, and I'm going to get with it right now. And I want to welcome to the Triple B Black and Gold Dynasty, Mr. JT from Steelers Realm Podcast. How you doing, JT?
Uh, hey, Bubba. Hey, thanks a bunch, man, for having me join. And just want to say, hey, happy 50th episode.
Oh,
Congrats.
thank you. Thank you.
We talk all the time how much work this is, and
Yeah, it
and
is. It is work.
kudos to you, brother. And thanks
Thank
for
you so
having
much.
us on, man.
Oh, it's a
We
pleasure
were,
having you guys on.
yeah. Hey, there's never a lack of things to talk Steelers as far as that goes, off season or in season, especially last off season. But yeah, man, things are happening already. Lots to talk about, and I'm happy to jump in and throw some stuff out there too. But yeah, wanted to make sure to get those 50th episode wishes and congrats to you, man.
Well, thank you. I'll
That's
try to get
definitely
150 here. I don't know. It'll be tough, but I, I
hey,
I enjoy doing it. Don't you enjoy doing this though?
yeah. When it's fun, it just next thing you know, it'll be 100. Next thing you know, you'll turn around, it's 250.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so congrats, man. We
Thank you.
happy to celebrate with you. So
Awesome.
hey, we're just gonna get the man, the myth, the legend, the one who carries the freight on our podcast, Steelers Realm podcast. Kind of got this reputation as the keeper of the stars, but the freight train, due to some scheduling conflicts, was going to make it on with us, Bubba, and
Oh, okay.
at basketball season, winter sports, youth sports, and I fell victim to that last week myself. But
Uh-huh.
he's going to try to jump on if he can. So we'll keep our
Okay,
eyes
yeah.
peeled.
Send the audible to the freight train and tell them to get back on track. We'll be good
Yep,
to
had,
go.
had to call out, had to call out an audible on that one too.
Well, that's
But
okay.
yeah, man, cool. Good to be back with you. Steelers Realm. We took a couple weeks off. We're gonna jump back on next week.
So
Kind of
you've taken a couple weeks off after the regular season?
after the regular season. Yeah, we
Okay.
kind of bailed out a little bit. We had a guest on from Joshua from the UK,
Oh,
a
nice.
Steeler fan from across the pond, and he was able to jump on with us last week. And again, we talk about scheduling conflicts, youth sports.
How
We had
was
a bunch.
that? How was that to interview him from doing a podcast show across, the Atlantic Ocean?
Yeah,
How
he's
was
5
that?
hours ahead, so we kinda had to adjust back here to meet his schedule. Now, being a devoted Steeler fan, those Monday night games and Sunday night games are rough for him.
I
That
bet.
the last one, I know he messaged me, and I'm like, "Dude, what are you still doing up?" And he's like, "I hope the Steelers make it worth my while to stay up till 4 a.m. to watch these guys." But yeah,
Oh my
it's a
God.
little tough. Like if you were a Rams fan or something like that, those guys are watching games at 10 o'clock in the morning out there. So,
Right.
depending on we're lucky where we fall in the time zone
Yes, we
that
are
we're
lucky.
able to watch
I
the
couldn't do 4 o'clock. I don't know how that'd be ending a Steeler game, especially if they lost and then Monday morning you had to go to work. It would
oh
not
yeah,
be a pretty
yeah.
sight.
Couple
Not at
hours
all.
later, literally.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, so
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
tough.
let me ask you real quick, and I want to say hello to Benjamin for tuning in, Chris, Brian Yeager. Thanks, guys, for tuning in
Hey guys.
to the show tonight. Let me ask you because I don't know if we talked. Let me ask you, how did you like the end of the season of 2022?
You mean for the Steelers
Yes,
overall, like a
yes.
10,000 foot. overview thought. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, at the end of the season, I thought, well, there was pros and cons to that. Just my opinion, but I thought they made some progress. Began to realize that we were maybe a little hypercritical early on. Uh,
Uh-huh.
that coupled with some very vanilla coaching early on, and as time goes on, we find out that that was by design or is claimed to be by design. The generic offenses to keep it simple, but
Mhm.
yeah, I thought I saw a lot of improvements. But the offensive line became less noticeable, other than one or two characters who continues to stand out with penalties and things like that. But
Right.
overall improvements, and looking forward to next year. I think they've kind of found an identity. I think they saw success with the running game, which in turn, any rookie quarterback, if you can lean on a pretty solid running game, that takes some of the heat out of your kitchen too. So, we saw that take place, and I was kind of pleased with the way we ended up. As Bill Cowher said, the games early in the season matter too. So they
Well,
found
yeah,
themselves,
that's what ruined it. That's what ruined a little bit, but
yeah, they found themselves in that situation where needing some help, and we know we've been there
I don't
before.
want it. I don't want that anymore. I
No,
know I stated that numerous times. I do not want that anymore. I want us to help ourselves, and we don't have to worry about everybody else.
we
And
need
I'm
to
okay.
control our
Yeah,
destiny, right, and
yeah,
be playing the best football of the year in December, right?
yeah.
You
I
you
think
got to
we could have.
you got to
Yeah,
go into the playoffs playing your best football, and fortunately we were, but too little, too late, really.
I
Some of
I think
that.
if we would have got into playoffs, we could have went to Buffalo and did. Hey, anything could happen in any playoff, and look what
That's right.
happened to those guys against Cincinnati. And look what I mean. Playoff games is a different breed in itself.
Sure is.
So I mean, you never know if we just got to get in. But I have a question. Brian Yeager says, "Do we go linebacker in the first round or O line?" I love how the O line started to get the last 5 weeks of the season, like the gel they had, and how they played and stayed healthy together. So I'm going to put that question out to you,
Okay.
JT, and then I'll
Yeah,
say
I
something
think they were
after.
a little gun shy going linebacker first round. So I would think, and then plus, a lot of criticism taking Kenny Pickett first round versus an OL. I think they'll go OL this offensive line and
Yeah,
bolster that and continue to grow that for depth, the old Steelers way. How they used to.
right.
Uh, I think they went a long way, kind of filling some gaps in the past off season with the signings of Cole and Daniels, uh, and then they were able to look at the draft in a little bit different light. And I think they'll continue to do that. But I think, just in my opinion, I think they'll
Well,
go over.
that's why we're here. We're
Yeah, man.
so hopefully that answered your question, Brian. I think it's going to be, and I think it's going to be a lineman, and I'm going to say I'd like to see a nose tackle, which I wanted to see last year, but that didn't happen. And I know Eric still says offensive tackle or nose tackle. Thanks for watching, Steele. Bob Roofner, Barbecue Bob, thanks for tuning in. Matt, thanks for tuning in. Trisha Farmery Taylor, thank you for tuning in to the show, guys. If you have some questions, I will ask. I'll put it out there to JT from Steelers Realm Podcast, and we will try to come up with some Steelers solutions. So before we get into the digress of the booking sheet, as I call it, being an indie wrestling promoter, let me ask your take. And how did you feel when we still kept Matt Canada?
Throwing that to me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I put you right on the spot.
that's okay. Let me just put this out there that I'm no professional. I don't claim to know anything. I just have strong opinions about the Steelers.
That's okay.
But yeah, well, that was the second part of what I initially was talking about when you asked me about the end of the season. This was kind of the negative to it, is that I thought that the Steelers players actually saved Canada's job. I think
You're
if they
right.
would have continued to falter, uh, I think the pressure would have been too much for the Rooneys to have to put the heat on Tomlin and maybe move on from him. so many different opinions floating around about one or the other, or what's best for Kenny Pickett, or
Sure.
you know, do you cut the cord uh, before he gets used to something? And hey, okay, that was the first year you got to see the NFL, you got to use this playbook, uh, stuff to build on from it, but we're going to have somebody else bring their system in now. You know,
It's going to make for interesting podcasting stuff for both shows this coming year. I guarantee it.
yeah, it
And
doesn't
if he
sound like
doesn't
he's
get,
going anywhere, but
yeah, and if he doesn't get to the stick, and I know they don't score a lot more points, I believe he will be gone. But I know my podcast will be turning the fires. I'm not a big Matt Canada supporter. I never was. So we'll just go from there and see what happens. I just hope they score some points.
yeah, that's it. We got to score
Yeah,
touchdowns when we get in the red zone. We've got to make that better. We've got to be less predictable,
yeah.
and let the talent be as it may. So
Okay.
yeah. If it doesn't turn it around drastically next year, I think we might see some movement there. But man, let's just hope. I don't care what he does, as long as they are able to put up points doing it,
Right,
and
right,
not be predictable.
right, right.
Like
I
so many
agree.
teams
I'm not
criticizing
liking
him
him.
of earlier. You know?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, Jeff Blaistone, Justin, Beth Botsford Booth, thanks for tuning in to the Triple B Black and Gold show, our 50th show with my special guest, JT from the Steelers Realm podcast, which is located in Indiana County. These two shows right here of Steelers are both based in Indiana, Pennsylvania, and his team, he's got two of them in where are they at? Cleveland, Ohio?
Yeah, outside of Browns territory, outside of Canton,
Yeah, that's
actually, Canton, Ohio.
Yeah. Yeah, crazy, crazy.
Yeah,
But yeah,
saw some
it's
guys
surprising that
out
you got
there.
two Steeler podcasts in the same town. It's funny. That is funny.
Yeah,
But let's get to some Pro Bowl talk.
yeah,
As
definitely.
we've seen, oh, thank you. I love you too, Beth. Thanks for tuning in. Look, this the Pro Bowl, not like it was when we were growing up when we wanted to watch the Pro Bowl and it was great and it was an exciting game and the stars and the Pro Bowl was just an epic game where you saw the best of the best. Now it's watered down version of frisbee tag and cornhole, and I don't know what's going on, but I know Cam Hayward got named to the Pro Bowl. That was his sixth Pro Bowl for Cam, which he probably should have got in before, but he's replacing Chris Jones, who's going to the Super Bowl with Kansas City. So congratulate to Cam. I don't know if it means anything so much anymore. It still means something to the players, I'm sure. But the game, you know what I mean? The
Yeah.
game's just are you gonna watch it?
The flag football game?
Yeah, the flag cornhole tournament and probably bocce ball court thing.
Yeah, I think I'll be more interested in some of the oddball stuff. But
Okay, yeah.
here's epic Pro Bowl dodgeball. Longest drive, 4 players from each conference will compete in this challenge to see who can drive a golf ball the furthest. Precision passing, best catch.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, and then it gets into Sunday, the gridiron gauntlet. 6 players
Yeah.
from each conference compete. Kick tack toe.
What? Now, see that's bullshit. See, I think that Pro Bowl could be played where maybe if the AFC, whoever won from the AFC or NFC won, there's no they get the ball first. Then they have
Yeah,
something to play for. In the
yeah,
Super Bowl, you
right,
get the ball first.
right.
Whoever wins gets the ball first.
Just like Major League Baseball, right?
Yeah, and they flip the quarter to determine what side of the field they're going to defend. So we
Right.
have a coin toss, but they could do that to make it a little interesting. Then people would actually seriously watch it. I'm not going to watch it. You know what I mean? Like that. It's just I don't think I'm going to watch it because now I know TJ Watt he went out with he's probably getting some stuff fixed up.
Sure. Yeah.
He's not going to play, and I don't blame him. I'd pull out of this damn Pro Bowl too. But the thing that really pisses me off is the year that Highsmith had, he gets snubbed.
He did. Yeah.
So, do you think that some voting ballots or whatever are snubbing a couple of the Steelers, especially when we get to some little interesting topic of a quarterback that they named yesterday that I
Yes.
think me and you
That
could have
is.
thrown more touchdowns than he did.
Yeah. Yeah. So, well, Yeah, he was snubbed. Let's just face it.
14
Even
and a half
Fryer,
sacks, nothing. That is
yeah,
just terrible.
um, and Fryermuth wasn't the golden boy as far as the tight ends. But yeah, what craziest thing is
Well, that's
Tyler
because he had two.
Huntley.
He had if he'd had maybe 5 touchdowns, he had like 700 and some yards. If he had probably had 5 or 6 touchdowns, he probably would have been in the Pro Bowl this year.
Yeah, that's true. That's
That's
true.
that's and that's probably the snub that's coming. So you got the snub from Highsmith, the snub from Pat Fryermuth. As Steeler fans, as we are, because we want to see our Steelers in the Pro Bowl. Not everybody's going to get in, But this is the biggest bullshit, and the biggest bullshit. The fourth quarterback that they got was, Tyler Huntley from the Ravens, who
Yeah.
had worse stats than our rookie quarterback Kenny Pickett, which is terrible.
Yeah. Yeah. So why is that? They just feel like they had Lamar Jackson in their sights the whole year, and they have some along the way. Well, we got to scratch them. What about? Well, let's just put Huntley in since we were going to
They do
pretty much.
that just to piss him off because they're trying to extend his contract.
Who knows?
But I
Who knows?
mean, the last 7-2, with Kenny Pickett, that's he had better stats than Huntley. It's just god awful, and that's what I think. They're just blindfolded and they're throwing darts up against the dartboard, and I'm like, oh, this guy can go in, and then this guy could go in. I mean, that's why it's such a joke now, and they're getting major sponsorship and ESPN and all this bullshit. But still, the game that I remember when I was a kid that I used to love, you know what I mean, was the Pro Bowl, and it was the best
Oh
of the best,
yeah,
and now it's not even the
yeah,
best of the
yeah.
best.
And then like they actually kind of, you know, kind of like the All-Star game in baseball, they kind of help each other out in a way. It's not. But I was just looking at something here, Bubba. Was thinking, well, maybe they put Huntley in because just as a Ravens, but he's not the only ones. Their fullback Patrick Ricard, uh,
Hmm.
tight end Mark Andrews,
Wow. Wow. Well, and they had
and
better quarterbacks. They had
linebacker Raquan Smith,
Jesus.
and cornerback Marlon Humphrey.
Wow. Well, they just snubbed the Steelers because there was
Duvernay, although out for an injury,
right.
Duvernay as well.
Candle bin polling championships.
So,
Wow.
yeah, kind of crazy there.
Yeah, that's just I mean, and that's what we're getting now. So we're getting watered down version.
Yeah.
I think all Pro Bowl all stars are just it's all watered down anyway, but the NFL is just getting worse and it's not even going to be exciting. And I just wanted to bring that to the forefront. I mean, I'm glad Cam Hayward got Pro Bowl because in the last when they were going on that 7-2 run, I mean, Cam was a big part of it and he was that Raiders game, he was just lit up and he just was determined and I hope he's got a little bit left in his tank. They just got to get him some help on the defensive line and I just can't believe that Highsmith got snubbed, and I don't know what we got to do in these contract, meetings, to get him in a contract extension. They have to because our linebacker core is so we
Yeah.
don't have any depth at all, and it's just we're gonna have to pay these people, and that's why Omar Khan is the guru of signing and getting some good contracts. So we will see, but the Pro Bowl is it's a shame Kenny couldn't get in. It was just it would add to his legacy, but it wasn't meant to be. And I mean, there's other quarterbacks that had some good stats, but Huntley should have never ever been in. So, and that's what a joke the Pro Bowl has turned into. So I don't think I'm going to watch it. It's not worth it for me. So I'll probably do something else, which is terrible.
It was always a cool week to still get some NFL stuff and still see some of your players. Now it's basically just a vacation.
Yeah, yeah. I like to take a vacation.
And they play some games along the way.
Where's it at? Is it still? No, it's not in Hawaii anymore, is it? It's in Vegas, isn't it, or something? No, maybe I don't know. I don't know.
You know what? Let me
I
see.
don't even know. I mean, if you go to Vegas and you're a Pro Bowl, then it'd probably be worth it because then you know what, you're doing some crazy stuff, and it'll probably come out in the wash if you're in Vegas at a Pro Bowl. Where Hawaii would be more a cooler atmosphere. Well, it'd be more a tourist environment instead of the crazy party atmosphere that Vegas can lead to. Louis, thanks for tuning in. To
Yeah,
Chris Ward, thanks
yeah.
for tuning in. Oh, Steele says Huntley will double his touchdowns in that Pro Bowl game because he's throwing a robotic thing or the tire swing throwing it
Oh,
through the hoop.
yeah.
You
The
know,
moving, the
yeah,
moving target
yeah. I don't know
across.
where it's at. I don't know if it's Vegas or
It is,
Hawaii.
yeah. It's
Is it in Vegas?
Intermountain Healthcare Performance
Oh,
Center and Allegiant Stadium,
oh,
which
maybe
is
they can.
home of the Vegas Raiders.
Well, maybe they can have Huntley go up to the Mustang Ranch and help him out so he can get, like Steele said, throw 2 touchdowns. Maybe he'll get 3. Yeah. So let me
Mustang
ask you
Tower.
another question. Do you think the Steelers will sign another offensive-minded coach for their like as an assistant? For example, if Leftwich is never signed anywhere, do you think that the
Mm.
Pittsburgh Steelers would sign him as an assistant under Matt Canada in case something happens, and they always have him as they're ready and waiting to strike, maybe as an
You know what?
offensive coordinator?
I'm not sure. His name surfaced early on
Yeah,
as there was talk of him getting let go. Um, so
and I
you
don't
know,
know if he got let
and
go. I think he did.
yeah, or it was a mutual disbanding, or whatever. But I don't know. I mean, it's possible he's got ties to Pittsburgh. Always did well, as a backup quarterback role.
Hmm.
It just took him forever to deliver the football in his windup. But other than that, if you remember, it was just like slow motion wind up, and then there's the
And there it
pass.
was. Yeah. Well, but do you think they might?
But
If it's not him, do you think it's somebody else?
hard to say, man. Yeah, I
I mean, I
can't
would have
add
loved.
much to that one
Well, I would
myself.
have loved Frank Reich, but he's been signed.
Yeah, he got picked up, right?
So the assistant OC in waiting, I'm not sure. Well, maybe Steeler freak, maybe. And Steele says hire Leftwich as a consultant. Hmm. I mean, we don't have a lot of coaches in the Steeler organization anyway. The Steelers don't have a lot of coaches like some teams,
Right, you're
you
right.
know.
They're
So
typically lower than most other teams.
yeah, and I wanted to get this out. Yes, yes, Craig. Yes,
Oh, absolutely,
yes, absolutely,
absolutely,
Craig.
without a doubt. He'll go into training camp as a
Yes,
starter,
yes.
one to beat. I guess the question really should be,
Who's going to be second string?
who's going to be second string and who's going to
Yeah,
still be here.
I got that up. Art doesn't pay. He said, "Oh well, Art, you're right. Art doesn't pay. He's going to have to pay somebody, though." Steeler freak. He's got a lot of players that they need to sign to make this team intact and keep them to where they need to be from being 9-8 and getting to like 11 victories. They were very close. They were very close. The only 2 games I feel that they actually got blown out was the Eagles, of course, going to the Super
Oh
Bowl,
yeah,
and
yeah,
Buffalo at
Buffalo.
that time was hot, and then they just self-destructed. And I do believe you can hear on this podcast first, ladies and gentlemen. I think the Buffalo Bills are on a little bit of a decline now. I think Cincinnati beating them like they did got into their head, and I don't think Josh
Oh
Allen
yeah,
is all that in a
they
bag
look
of chips
bad.
now. They
They
were
look bad.
terrible. So
They look
maybe
bad.
people are jumping off the ship. We got to wait and see. But I wasn't a big Buffalo. I never liked Buffalo anyway. So because they used to beat the Steelers all the time with Jim Kelly, and then that one Monday night game we beat them, and then that was the tide turned to the Steelers. So
Yeah.
yeah. So but
Well,
hey,
I have a solution.
okay.
Now that he's free, we can hire the GOAT.
I don't think
Tom
everybody. I
Brady is
ask
now
you.
available, ladies and
I
gentlemen, and he's not playing
yeah.
anymore. So let's hire him as the GOAT consultant.
That's funny. Yeah, I can't see him. I can't see him being a consultant because he's making $350 million as soon as he hangs up his cleats. And I don't know. I don't know. He's still better than some of the quarterbacks we have now in the NFL, which is sad. Which is
Yeah,
sad
yeah.
because if they get players around him, we've seen what can happen. I mean, I honestly I can't look. His accomplishments are great. Like I said before we went on, I don't know if anybody knows this, but there's one team in the NFL that he doesn't have a winning record against, and I wish it was the Steelers, but he's 9-4 against
Oh,
the
yeah,
Steelers.
it's not the Steelers.
So it's not the Steelers. So if
They have our playbook.
anybody out there could figure it out, what team did Tom Brady, who's going to retire, they said he's going to retire, has a losing record against? And he's been the goat and whatever, but hey, look, I just hated it because he beat us all the time, and I hated it. I fucking can't stand Tom Brady, so that's beside the point. But yeah, so
Ask Heinz Ward about Tom Brady playing
yeah,
against Tom Brady.
well, that's true. That's true, Steeler freak. He's got but sometimes you don't got to move if you got an arm, and he's got the quickest release still for being almost 50. So
Yeah, look at the record. Yeah, look at the players that he's had to work with over his career too. So
yeah,
congrats to him.
Louis says Dolphins ? Maybe Louis, maybe, I don't know,
You
because
know what? I
Tua,
threw that out there initially
you?
when you bounced it off of me. I was thinking, well, Dolphins, because
Tua has another concussion, so he's out.
Yeah, I saw that.
He's out in the Pro Bowl throwing
Oh,
fucking
Pro Bowl.
frisbees and bocce ball. So he can't even do that. So he's got a concussion. He can't even do the skill things. So hey, Kelly, thanks for tuning in. My sister's tuning in. Thank you, Kelly. If you have any questions, please put us on there, and I'll put them out to JT, and we can discuss them here on the show on the 50th double issue of the Triple B Black and Gold Dynasty. Now, I don't know if you saw this. Did you see Art Rooney's end of season chat?
I did not see that.
Okay. Well, he said
waiting
that
for
he
him
was
to chime in.
Yeah, he was happy how the Steelers played at the end of the season. I mean, we all were, but they needed to score more points. So is that a signal to Canada to actually, put some points up?
Interesting. Well, hey, I'm surprised that hasn't been something said earlier than this, to be honest with you. But, they don't really kind of step in and bring a lot of limelight to themselves, Art, or any of the Rooneys ever really
not bringing the media in that kind of way.
Yeah.
They do. It's a baseline on, and they handle themselves with the media, you know what I mean, with class and stuff.
Right.
But
those meetings are behind closed doors.
Yes, they're not no Jerry Jones doing crazy shit. Wanting to sign a kicker in during a game, in Dallas, or taking over the team and causing a whole bunch of stuff. Lou says Denver. Louis says Denver now for Brady. I don't know. That is interesting, Lou. They just got a new coach now.
Yeah.
He said he had to Google it. That's what he said.
Well, getting back to what you were saying about Rooney.
Yeah,
that could be a spotlight for this year. I'm sure he's going to have his eye on that. Got to get more points.
Well, he also said that Cam Sutton is a necessity to sign in the offseason. He did say that. And we do need that because we have a lot of guys in the secondary that are up for re-enlistment, and I don't know if we can afford to sign everybody, and that'll be closer to when free agency is up. But Cam Sutton might get a pretty penny.
Well,
Jesus, Steele.
There is new salary cap numbers were announced.
Yeah, how much was that?
Let me see if we can bring it to you. 224.8 million.
Wow.
Salary
hopefully we can sign. Hopefully that was his biggest thing, was signing Cam Sutton and scoring more points, and he liked how they were going at the end of the season. Now he wished that they would have played a little better in the beginning of the season. We all agree with that. But I mean, Dan, like Steele says right now, Dan Rooney is knew how to run the organization. His dad. Art too is as cheap as Bob Nutting, as Steele says. And that's
Bob pretty low
Nutting. Yeah, Bob Nutting's effing cheap, man. He's so cheap he screeches when he walks.
Yeah, it said it's about 16 million more than 2022 cap. Wow. And it said now, this is according to Tom Pelissero, cap would be a record 224.8 million per club, and that's up from 208.2 in 22. And also 182.5 in 2021 with the COVID
Jesus.
adjustment. So it's substantially
They
increased.
hopefully they get Sutton and they get an extension and they just oh my God. Oh man. They're bad. Art pays and green. Oh wow. Well, Steeler freak. That's a lot of food coupons. A lot of
Sounds like a disgruntled employee,
yeah,
former
yeah.
Steelers employee.
Woo.
Oh man.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. So hopefully, I mean, that was if you ever get a chance to check it, it was Missy Matthews interviewed him and stuff. So I mean, it wasn't long, but I mean, he did say some key points and he didn't really go he wasn't angry. I mean, he was very thorough and yes, we have to score. I mean, a blind man can see that we needed to score some points this year. We already knew that. But the Steelers are also looking at some players. This week's the Senior Bowl, and there's a lot of players out there in the East-West Shrine Bowl. Now, there was a player, and there's a whole bunch of players. Like, there's a lot of information coming out during this before draft, and everybody, the Steelers are talking to a lot of people, and I just put that down, as a viewpoint and a topic to talk about a little bit here tonight. Like I did not know because I'm not big into the college players as some people are, but they were looking at Carter Warren, who was an offensive tackle at Pitt, who played with Kenny Pickett for 36 games. Now, maybe Pickett has something to say about this later on. He's not probably going to be a high pick. Maybe they get him later on, maybe. But they are looking at a lot of offensive linemen, which is good. I am not happy with Dan Moore. I think we can. Yeah, I thought he would get better because of last year, and he regressed instead of progressed.
Yeah,
Green. He's just not. Yeah,
one.
yeah. I don't know if he'll make the team, but also Kentucky cornerback Keidron Smith, very versatile in the secondary. They were talking to him this week. Ohio State, another offensive tackle, Donald Jones, and I seen him in some NFL mock drafts. Got the Steelers picking him in a mock draft. I think I took it on my last show. I talked about it. And North Dakota State, Cody Myrick, offensive tackle. And as before we went on, hot on from the press, the Steelers were talking to Tennessee tackle Darnell Wright, who is 6'6" and a house. And that's the reason why I looked at it and researched it when I seen it, because we need somebody. And they compared him to Marvell Smith, because Marvell Smith always protected Ben's backside. You know what I mean? We definitely need that. So,
no doubt.
Yeah. So, and there's just so much of this mock stuff, and they're talking, and Tomlin's probably wheeling and dealing and talking to
and
people.
We'll certainly be getting into that, in the off season. So much as we work up towards the draft, and that'll certainly be a lot of fun. And no shortage of spots to fill again this year. I mean, I like your linebacker thoughts. I'd probably go O-line.
I don't know.
There
Not
was some
in the first
talk
round.
about even the Gravedigger maybe kicking him back over, but he's going to demand a lot.
Yeah,
for Hargrave.
He's going to if they get a Super Bowl ring, his number is just through the roof.
Yeah,
the Steelers can't afford him. They can't afford him, and they couldn't. And they gambled with Stephon Tuitt, and they lost in that gamble because now look what happened, and now look what's going on. Like you got some Steelers. Like now you got Hargrave with the Eagles. You got Juju, with the Kansas City Chiefs. His contract's up too. I like Juju, but I know he's not coming back.
No,
we need to get some. Calvin Austin III, once he gets better, he was running. There's video on him running as we speak, so he must be training. So I just want to get us Greg Rishel. Hey, Greg, what's up? They need to build the O line. Yeah,
no doubt.
Yeah, and having great lines on both sides of the ball. I mean, I know I'm going to get a little bit ahead of ourselves since we're talking about the line, but that assistant general manager Doug Watt, he built the Philadelphia's Eagles line right now that has them in the Super Bowl. He built that on the draft. And I know I'm a little ahead of myself in my
Mhm.
my notes, but I figured this was a good way to, step right in there with the offensive line that we're talking. So this is
Well,
going to be
maybe
the first.
another year of the draft and could do some magic, you know?
Well, this is going to be the first draft without no Kevin Colbert. So
That's true.
do they tell Tomlin, hey, sit down, shut up? We need these kind of players. You're not going to get your playmakers, or by the time you're going to get the best athlete. These are the people we need, offensive linemen. So, and Greg Rishel says Pickett definitely showed potential. I look for Mitch to want to be traded. Yes, I see that too, Greg.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely.
I
I
think
think
he
he'll be
said,
like one of the first ones to go.
yeah, no hostages in Pittsburgh, and he jumped the gun. He said he jumped the gun, signing with
Yeah,
Pittsburgh too soon. He didn't wait around. So,
right.
but anyway, during the Steelers secondary coach Grady Brown is serving as the defensive coordinator for the national and the Senior Bowl this Saturday, and also has Steelers outside linebacker Denzel Martin as a linebacker coach under Brown. So those two are probably looking at some players,
Yeah,
and they're probably going to
firsthand.
be talking, here, this and that, and they're going to be looking. So maybe we can get, since we got some coaches that are coaching the Senior Bowl this weekend, uh, maybe we can get a gem in those middle rounds that we don't even know. Like I wouldn't know. I mean, you got to have a board and you got to know your college, analysis stuff. I don't know nothing about being a scout. I have a friend of mine, and you probably know him, Chad Henry. Chad Henry's a scout at the Colts. Like he's working right now, going and stuff. And I'm sure that's just 24 hours, 7 days a week. And I don't know what
Oh,
they're
you
looking
know it.
for.
You know it.
Yeah. So I mean so they're probably, maybe we got a little bit of insight since we have some coaches at the game. And Louis says Mitch is
Yeah.
gone. Well, yeah,
Oh,
that is
yeah.
going to be, and speaking, we're going right in, and I know somebody was talking on the chat about the Steelers signing Bill's backup Casey Keenum. That could be a possibility because Mason Rudolph's going to be gone too. So
Yeah, I don't see him sticking around. He Yeah, he got the cuck treatment.
now let me ask you,
I'm s
JT. Let me ask you, since the Steelers didn't dress three quarterbacks, and look what happened against in the 49ers against Philadelphia in that
Yeah,
championship game.
yeah.
What do you do now? Do the Steelers and all other NFL teams draft three quarterbacks due to the fact, if one quarterback, if your starter bounces his head and goes to the tent and you're fucked, and all you got the second string quarterback and that's all you got, did the NFL now, since they're doing these concussion stuff, let the teams go with three, and do you dress three? What do you think about that?
Well, with the concussion protocols and whatnot, it's not, you would think initially that's a freak accident. How could you have, like, be down to your 3rd, maybe a 4th quarterback? Um, they have to address it somehow. I don't know. Um, do you have to keep can you keep a guy, like an emergency roster spot for him? I
I
don't
don't. Well,
Like, you can only play if this guy goes down and that guy goes down and you're on
But
your 3rd spot.
what would be one more quarter if every team is dressing three quarterbacks? What does it hurt? To change, like Steele says, needs to change the amount of players being dressed. Like now, because its concussions are so critical, and you get bumped. That NFC Championship game this past weekend was a disaster from the go when
Yes,
Purdy,
certainly was.
hurt his arm. I
Right.
mean, and that it was ratings. And if the 49ers had a quarterback, there could have been a different situation. We don't know. I just think maybe they're going to have to maybe look at it in the offseason, or not this year. Definitely the years coming, to every team has to have three quarterbacks on the sidelines just in case of a concussion. Because every other player, like receivers, you got, you know what I mean? Like you can deal with tight ends to receivers, and running backs, you could put a fullback in or something if you needed to. But I don't know.
How many teams were affected by that? Quarterbacks getting concussed.
A lot. If we had a stat, probably a lot. Probably 65%. And well, Greg says the NFL needs to re-examine the 17-game season because of concussions. Greg, I don't think they're going to do that. You know why, Greg? It's the almighty dollar. They're making money. This is the number one sport in America now. The number one sport is football. Shane Staubmiller, thanks for tuning in.
Hey, Shane.
Nicole Tiger, thanks for tuning in.
Hello, honey.
So, but I don't think they're not gonna get rid of the 17 game. They just put it in.
Oh
So
yeah,
they're gonna
no.
It's all money.
If anything, they're going to expand and go 18 at some point in time.
Oh, I see it going to 20.
Oh,
I see it going to 20 and playing at the end of February, and probably March is your Super Bowl here pretty soon. Yeah. They will go 18. Yeah, I believe they will. They're going to get all the money they can, and they have these other leagues that are coming after that. Steele says no way. Wait, hold on. Steele says no way they will be up the season to 18 games eventually. It's all about they will. They'll be up. They'll be up to 18 games. Greg Rischel said, I agree. It's all greed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So here's an interesting number, folks. The total players. Now, this is I would narrow it down to quarterbacks. The total players concussed in the 2022 season. What do you think that number is, Bubba?
I would say probably a percentage or a number.
A number. Just a.
I'll go with. I would probably go with 387 players.
Oh, wow. It's pretty high. But entering week 17, the stat had 135 NFL players.
Shit, I put that out of the water.
Yeah.
That's still a lot.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Excuse
wow.
me. Yeah.
How many? 100 and what?
135 NFL. That was going into week 17.
Wow. So realistically, probably during this playoffs and Super Bowl, it could be added another 5 or 10.
A couple, anyhow. Yeah, I'd like to go through that and see. There's Tyler Huntley, Russell Wilson. Just a couple names popping off right off the bat.
Eventually, they're going to go international Steeler freak, but I don't want to watch a Steeler game at 9:00 in the morning.
Yeah, that's the tough part about it. I mean, you would think speaking of expanding internationally, we talked to Joshua from the UK about that too, and it was just a logistics thing. If they were trying to maybe to add one of those international teams, speaking of spreading teams out, but 5 hours, and then when do they travel, and how does that affect future weeks and things like that? That's a tough one. That's a tough one there.
Yeah, that's
maybe like
it's all they got the great NFL mind sitting there making money. I mean, Amazon Prime Thursday. I don't like Thursday night games. I don't even like Sunday night games anymore. I like 1 and 4 games and Monday night. That's it. But it's going to be it could be every night of the week. I think that number is way off. I don't know, Greg. You
ready to get it watered down?
JT said, or the number that I said, because JT was looking and Googling up the concussions for 2022. So, and then Shane says increase the teams, not the games. Shane, it'll be all watered down if you got like say 40 teams. I think that'd be too much. I think you'd have watered down some of you don't have good quarterbacks now as the NFL. If you had 40 NFL teams, it would just be.
You think we have the talent to spread it out that much?
I don't know. Maybe I tell you what, I would go, Shane, I would go 32. I'd go 35. Maybe 4 in 2 in the AFC and 2 in the NFC. I'd go 32, 4 be 36. That'd be 36 teams. Yeah.
And we used to have 5 in our division, right?
They had back in the day it was Houston. It was Houston, right. Cleveland, and
Cincinnati.
That was it in the Steelers.
Now before they had Jacksonville. Wasn't Jacksonville in there too?
I think I think you might be right.
It was the AFC Central, right?
Yeah.
Before we moved to the AFC North.
I think they put Jacksonville in and they took them out.
Yeah.
I don't know what cities. I don't know.
It's funny.
And Louis says Antonio
Crazy.
Brown has been concussed since the perfect hit. Yes. Shane says Bob's Pizza 6
Been
out of
saying
7
that.
days a week.
Been saying that myself.
Yeah, I think that was the ruin of his downfall.
Really
Greg
did.
Russell says they should have charged him criminally like they did NHL. They did with McSorley. Shane says what cities would be involved in an expansion? Oh my God, it'd have to be. I don't know. And then Steele says they're damn lucky if they have 20 legit quarterbacks in the league now. So you're going to get. Shane says Mexico City. Yes, Jacksonville was there at one time in Houston Oilers, Greg says. So,
That's right.
hey, guys, thank you. I appreciate you guys helping us out because that's why I love doing the social media stuff because I can try to see some stuff and bring it to the show. But I don't know what cities, Berlin, it'd be international cities, and that's not even, you can't get that rivalry if it's overseas. You just can't.
Yeah, and like Joshua pointed out, just the logistics of the travel. What do you send them? Back over to the U.S. for
Oh,
a
that's big. That's more money.
6-week a tour.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
I don't know. I'm trying to think of
Something
a
else.
team like a Texas team or
Canada.
another. Yeah, Canada. Yes. Oh, Canada. Yeah. The Canadian Bacons. That'd be the best team they got. They'd be selling bacon wrapped up. Yeah, I can't think of any cities right now that could maybe St. Louis. Well, maybe St. Louis. Maybe St. Louis would be one. Or right offhand. I'm just thinking offhand. Shane says Montreal. And I don't know. I maybe two more, maybe one in St. Louis in the AFC and one or in the NFC and put one in the AFC. You know, Louis Galentine says North and South Dakota could have teams. Oh, I don't know. That would be. I don't know. I don't know, Louis.
How about just put them in
Oh,
Nebraska? Why not go to
okay,
Nebraska?
Steele.
Why
Now
not?
here's a good one. Steele said San Diego, and then Shane
Oh
said
yeah,
London would be big. Okay, so this expansion would be. I know we're getting a little bit whatever, but this is
yeah.
This is a nice conversation. Um, would be the St. Louis, and Greg says St. Louis is a huge football city. St. Louis for the NFC and San Diego for the AFC.
AFC.
They give you give two more teams to give a total of 34. There's your two expansion teams for the next. You know what I mean? And then
So
they
what
have
happened with
their
the
fan base.
Chargers for them to leave San Diego to begin with, though? I mean, what
I
was
think
that
it was
about?
a state about the stadium or to
Oh,
build a new
okay.
stadium or something, and they just rolled
Could be.
out.
Yeah.
Oh, and Greg said, "Oh my God, I fucking forgot Oakland." Oh my God, I don't know. I don't know. That fan base there would start a revolution probably because I think a lot of the Raiders fans went. They could go to L.A. Steele says it was stadium issues. That's why the Chargers
Yeah. Okay. That
stadium issues.
makes sense.
So
Makes
you got you got St. Louis, you got San Diego, and you got Oakland. Ugh. That would
Yeah.
take it to 35. But I don't know if Sacramento, Shane says. But Shane says they want international. They want international eyes on games. So they're going to eventually. I don't know if they have one in Mexico City and one in over. I don't know. How much
I
is
think
too
that's
much
what
though?
you'll continue to see that. I don't know that they'll go to that a full-time team like that, or maybe they'll have certain division will play. Yeah, it's hard to say. It's hard to say.
Oh, this
But
is a
like
good
you said,
one.
like with this Thursday night games, where does it start to get watered down though?
Thursday
You
night,
know?
it's scrap.
Yeah.
Scrap. And then
Yeah.
Steeler Freak, yes, USFL. Yeah, if you want to get team yeah, yeah. And then you got the XFL coming. So
Yeah.
really, I think
Nice.
the USFL, the XFL, I think the indoor football league just came back today. Indoor football started back today. So
Really?
these are all the minor leagues for these players to get into the NFL. So it's just like a farming system, really. Steele says Thursday night sucks. I couldn't agree with you more, Steele. It
Yeah.
does. And
Really.
then Chris Elliott says, why not bring NFL Europe? Why not bring back NFL Europe? He laughs. But yeah, I mean, that's the. I mean, we could discuss this. I mean, and it wasn't. Guys. It wasn't a topic on my thing, but yeah, I mean, it's a big topic. Like, do they put 3 quarterbacks on every team now since concussions, and since JT said it was almost 100 and a half players, and most of them were probably
Yeah.
quarterbacks, probably.
Well, good chunk of them. I mean,
Yeah.
you got to think how many backups at any position are there at any given time on a team?
Ooh,
You know what I
that's
mean? So,
maybe.
what are you,
Yeah.
2, maybe 3? Maybe you have, like, some versatile linemen that can play multiple positions, but,
Yeah.
cornerbacks or, a little more specialty,
Right.
you
You only
know,
got one kicker.
one ca
You pull a
yeah,
groin, you're done, and we've seen
yeah,
that. And kickers
and then
are,
you can
y-
yeah, James
yeah,
Harrison punting from the end zone.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, I mean, guys, I don't know. It's whatever they discuss in the off season for the like the the NFC Championship game was atrocious when Purdy went out, and there was no hope with Mister was Joe Johnson, who was. He was around the league more times than I went to a fast food restaurant. Like, I mean, that poor dude just couldn't hit a broadside of a barn door, and they weren't winning, and they knew it going into it. They knew they were fucked, and it's terrible. But now I'm going to change a little bit of topic here. Like, because we do podcasting. We're and I'm not as successful as Mr. Big Ben as we're talking about, because
Oh, yeah.
Ben's podcast is super huge because it's Big Ben. But he had Pat Fryermuth on his show, and Fryermuth says there was a difference in quarterbacking when Ben was in there, because Ben knew the hot routes where Kenny did not.
Oh,
And that
sure.
that, that yes, I mean, that was a rookie thing. So, um, but Ben said, it's a skill that will achieve over time, and he said, Kenny will learn it, and Fryermuth agreed. So I don't know if he was putting more much on Kenny as he was Canada in my eyes.
Yeah, yeah. Well, those jabs continue to get thrown, and Ben, he never steps away from patting himself on the back every now and then as
Sure,
well too,
sure.
so,
Hey, when I did it, I'd call it a hot route, and we scored touchdowns quick, and
yeah,
I would throw
that got
28
lots of
points in
passes
that.
from me, and,
Yeah, second half,
you
and
know,
we'd score, and I'd
"Don't
draw it
worry,
up
the
on the
kid will get
field.
better, he'll get better,"
He's just not like me, though.
Yeah, he's
He's
not
got a
gonna
long way to go.
never be like me, but
Yeah.
yeah.
So yes, I know we got some talk about the a lot of NFL players played quarterback at one point. Works with the best one and as a third option, because Hein Words was a quarterback. Chris Elliott
Yes, he was.
expands the roster to 57 and must carry 3 quarterbacks. Shane said, special field correspondent Shane said Purdy was bad. And Louis says, did Pickett ever reply back to them? And Steele just said, thought he said that there wasn't any hot routes in that offense. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well,
They were all cold, man.
they were all, yeah. He didn't know how to do. He couldn't. I don't think he was allowed.
Good one.
He wasn't. He
Yeah,
wasn't
right.
allowed. He wasn't
No audibles,
allowed.
remember?
Probably. You
That's why
know.
that's when Mitch became the bitch.
Yeah. Yeah. And Greg Rishel says, "What the fuck?" Yes, Canada is still here, and I'm sure I'm gonna be bitching a lot, Greg, during this.
Oh, yeah.
Wait till training camp and wait till he's not going anywhere this year, so it'll make for interesting podcast source. And Shane says Randall, which I forgot about Randall.
Yes.
I am
Yeah.
old. I am old. I got a couple concussions myself, so
Yeah, he
you
was the
know,
backup quarterback too, right?
yeah, yeah. So
And
yeah, we
Hines,
shall
like you
see.
said, he did some quarterback at Georgia, right?
Yeah, and
Georgia?
Hines Ward was, yes, Greg Hines Ward also was a quarterback too. So yeah, I mean, if you're a quarterback and turn receiver, you could add on that. So, but I know, I mean, Big Ben, I mean, that podcast he's got is just booming.
Oh, I'm sure.
I mean, he's drinking beer and it's in his house, and he's got his little co-host who probably does all the media, social media stuff, and Ben just sits back and shoots the shit with some guys, and
Right.
actually Ben got connections. He can he can get anybody he wants in Pittsburgh, and he can get
That's it.
anybody on a show. Yeah, I have a hard time. Well, I don't have. I mean, I get a few, but nothing like, you know, like that. Steele says Randall
Yeah.
L's brother was just found guilty of double homicide. Oh shit, I didn't even know that.
Oh, man.
Oh wow.
Well, speaking
Wow,
of which, another
that would be good
player
at
in
a Christmas
trouble.
party.
Another player in trouble. Philadelphia Eagles. Josh Sills indicted. Uh, the accusations were rape and holding her against her will on December 5th,
Woo! Woo, he's like the Rick and Morty
2019.
he's like the Rick and Morty co-creator.
Yeah, they said he
Woo! Yeah, that's a
faces
big thing
felony
now.
charges of rape and
Ah,
kidnapping.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, you gotta let them go, guys. They say no, it's no. Goddamn, let them out of their house. Let
Mm.
them out of your house. Don't put them into your trunk. People are crazy. Yeah, I didn't know this about Randall L's brother. Wow, that's crazy,
I didn't
man.
know that either.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
before we get to because I don't want to end this on a bad note, you know what I
No, no.
mean? But I just found out before I went on the air, and I'm an older Steeler guy, you know what I mean? So and I've seen him play, and I know you have too, JT. Sidney Thornton, the running back for the Steelers, who actually played on a Super Bowl in the last Super Bowl during the Chuck Noll era, had passed away today. So
Oh,
I wanted to send my condolences out to, his family in Steeler Nation because hey, when you're a Steeler, you know what I mean, and he was good. I mean the '80s was rough, but I mean I remember watching good old Sidney Thornton and good old Frankie Pollard and Walter
oh
Abercrombie.
yeah.
So I mean it just sucks because I mean I'm getting up in age too, and all these people are passing away, and it's just you just got to keep on trucking, people. But
That is.
yeah, I
That
just
is.
got that. I just saw that before we went online, and I wanted to put that out there. And it's a sad day when anybody passes, but I don't know what he passed of, but Greg Rissell said he loved Sydney. Yeah, number 38. So
Mm.
now let's go on. Let's end it on a good note. Like Steelers schedule on who they're going to be facing this year has come
That's
out.
right. They come out with the schedule of opponents, right?
Yes.
So, along with the normal cast of AFC North characters, yeah, it looks like some of the home games will be hosting against Cardinals. Pack will be back,
Will it
and
be Aaron Rodgers or no
will
Aaron
it be?
Rodgers?
Yeah. Speaking of the Jags, they'll
That's
be
going to be
up.
that'll be a good game. Those tickets will be high priced, you
Yep.
know.
So that's what divisions and the Patriots,
Oh
and then
God.
also
That's
the
2 years
Titans.
back, 2 years in a row, Patriots, man.
Yeah.
Come on. I just like to see us beat New England at home. Like Lou says, please no Rodgers. I don't know. And then the Titans and the 49ers. I
And the
mean,
49ers, yeah.
49ers probably could have Tom Brady if he unretires. But
You
yeah, we don't
know,
know. Yeah.
totally not. I wasn't putting that out as far as a realm of impossibilities. I thought, well, you just never know. So, but yeah, we have the end of the year or the last several road games. Got to go out west as well too.
Yeah. Seattle's not a good place to play when we go out there if it's and it's not going to be an exhibition. And
Right.
the Texans and the Colts, we play the Colts again. The Raiders out there in Vegas and then the Rams.
Yes.
So, one of the either the Texans, the Colts, Raiders and Rams, or Texan, Colts, Raiders, 5 of them. Seahawks. It's going to be 2 of I don't know. No, I don't know if that includes the exhibition. I think this is not the exhibition because I'm adding this up in my head. 1,
2,
2, 3,
4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 17. Yeah, that's
Yeah, this is not
no.
exhibition. Sorry, I went to I went to Marion Center, and I'm a little sorry I didn't add,
That's all right.
but
Indiana math is the same as Marion's.
yeah, yeah. Uh, and Shane says, "Where will Aaron Rodgers be? Probably on Jeopardy." I don't think I wouldn't want him on my team anyway because he's worried about personal accolades than winning championships. So
Yeah, he'll be color analyst on
yeah,
Thursday Night Football.
yeah. So I mean that's exciting. I mean the schedule it doesn't look like, and I mean when we if we we're gonna do another mega cast because I enjoyed
Oh
everything
yeah,
I
we'll
picked.
get into that
But I
certainly.
mean I could just see now like realistically like the home games like it all depends on if they got a quarterback, the 49ers, because they're all hurt and whatever. but it looks like the Jags would be the toughest home game. Well, because I just want us to beat New England, so let's get that out of the way. But I think the Jags, besides the rivals in our division, that looks like the toughest, could be the toughest game because the Jags are coming on strong. And then away games would be, I don't know. I would say the just the Seahawks just are traveling out there. That's a long way. Just get in the playoffs. I don't care what they do. Just get,
Yeah,
just get there.
any of those games, Raiders, Rams, Seahawks, they could
Yeah.
all pose
Well, the
challenge.
Raiders don't have a quarterback. The Colts don't have a quarterback.
That's true.
The Texans don't have a
Derek
quarterback.
Carr quit.
Yeah. The Rams, you know what I mean? I don't think they're going to be a powerhouse like they were. And maybe Aaron Donald retires. Now, did you hear this before? Ramsey, they were looking to trade. That was a big talk in some Steeler podcasting that Ramsey, they're looking to trade Ramsey, and the Steelers might be interested in him because as I'm looking at the Rams down here on this opponent, would you trade? And anybody out there, let's comment before we wrap it up. Would you trade anybody for Jalen Ramsey? Would you take a trade? Would you give a draft pick up, or would you give a player for him to come to Pittsburgh? What do you think, JT?
I don't know that.
I put you on the spot.
I don't know. That seems to be one of those. Steelers aren't really known for signing, big name guys. Even in their, different stages of their careers. So I don't know. I don't really see that.
Yeah,
happening.
So you say no, we don't need him. Okay. Louis says no too. I personally, I don't want him either. There's been other Steeler podcasts that actually had him coming to Pittsburgh with a draft pick and a trade of Dante Johnson. I don't know what that kid on that Steeler podcast was smoking, but I wouldn't trade Jalen. I would not make that trade. No, especially of a high pick. I couldn't see that. Greg, I think Greg says Trubisky for him. Yeah, he said,
hey, I'd take that trade every day.
Well, I think he said Dante Trubisky for him instead of a draft pick, Dante and Trubisky for him.
I give you a third one too. Take Rudy with you too.
Yeah, he just never got his fair shake. Never
Two
got his
for one
fair shake.
package.
Shane says 2 cases of Icy Light. And a bottle of Jim Beam.
Yeah,
and a gallon of Captain, and you can send him and bring him over here. Yeah, Greg says Dante and Trubisky for Ramsey. Ooh, I don't know. Well, Mitch is going anyway. So, and do you have DJ's not a number one receiver, and he didn't have any no touchdowns. So no touchdowns, but also too, we need to sign Cam Sutton. So, I mean, you try to if you would trade for Ramsey, you're not getting Sutton. You can't do it. You probably can't afford it. So I don't know. I'm going to say no, guys. Why? Because he said that's a good deal. The 2 cases of Icy Light. Yeah, it is a good deal. And speaking of Icy Light, you could buy that at Alley Cat Beverage in Clymer, Pennsylvania.
That's
See how that goes? Yeah. Sponsors MegaCast shows. Proud sponsor of the Triple B Experience. That and Bob's Pizza. Greg says DJ has potential if you could hold on to the ball. Yeah, if he could hold on to the ball, it'd be great. Scored 10 touchdowns a year ago, and now he got nothing. So that's the part.
Crazy.
The shitty part of it stinks. Yeah, I was waiting for the freight train. I was waiting for the freight train to roll in. Choo choo.
Yeah, he must have got tied up, man.
Yeah,
hey, let me throw something out here, Bubba.
Sure, go ahead.
Before we wrap up here, we never really had a chance to go over this too, but way back at the beginning of the season in 2022, we had some predictions here.
Okay.
So I don't know if we ever went over those.
I don't know if we ever did.
But I would just go over what we picked.
Sure.
You and I picked. And so the beginning of the year, I had them going 9-8.
Wow.
Not bad, right?
Yeah, you're good. You played a Powerball tonight.
But, I had correctly picked 7 of the games. particulars. I mean, it's easy to get the record a little bit closer
Right.
than picking each individual games, but you got me. You had 'em Steelers going 12-5,
I know. I'm
but
effing
you
crazy.
correctly picked 8 of the games,
Really?
uh, that they won. Yeah, or won or
Wow.
lost, but you picked
Damn.
correctly. 8 of them.
I
Yeah,
needed some.
so
I wish I could do that on FanDuel. I'd be, you know,
hedge your bets too. So you and TA both had them going 12-5. Freight Train was 11-5, and he threw a tie in there too.
oh
And I
my.
think Corey CJ also had a tie in his predictions as well too.
Uh-huh.
Mav ended up the best of all of us.
Oh wow.
Actually, he picked now he had us going 13-4,
Uh-huh.
which was way out there to begin with, but nonetheless, he still correctly picked 11 games.
Oh wow.
Yeah, how about that?
Woo.
And Cable had picked us going 9-8 as well, and just like I did, picked 7 correctly,
Uh-huh.
which were all different too. Well, except for let's see, 1, 2, yeah, 3 games, 4 games we picked, and everybody picked us to win. Was the last was the Browns game. We all picked the Falcons game.
Uh-huh.
Let's see, we all picked, except for TA, the Saints game,
Okay.
and just about all of us, except for you, picked the Eagles game correctly to lose.
I
You
picked
picked
this. I
you
picked
picked
them.
them to win in that.
Oh, I was, yeah. Like Steele just said, you guys shouldn't smoke up before making predictions. So that
That's
that
right.
Eagles game, I must have been smoked up. Terrible.
See, no more
Yeah.
partying
Well,
before prediction time.
yeah. Well, okay. Well, next year, well, this year coming, we'll do the same thing and
Yep,
see
just
how.
water, just
Yeah,
water.
yeah. See how it goes. Maybe I'll light a big bowl and bask in my glory of my being smart ass under the weather. But yeah, I mean, yeah, and I do enjoy doing them mega casts because I like tonight. I mean, there is so much Steeler news even in the off season.
Yeah,
Like when
really
I
is.
do this, when I did this just to get you the booking sheet for the show, there is stuff coming out, and like I said about the passing of Sidney Thornton just dropped before
Mhm,
I even
right.
got the screen up and got us into the studio. And like there's Steeler stuff all the time. I mean, it's always news. And so, I mean, that'll be great watching that Pro Bowl, where they're, flipping hamburgers and playing frisbee tag. That'll be awesome. I can't wait
Yeah,
for that. I'm not
hacky
watching that.
hacky
I'm
sack.
not.
What's
Yeah,
next?
hacky sack. Yeah, or hula hoop. The hula hoop competitions from the Cam Hayward and all the defensive linemen to go against the quarterbacks. That'll be awesome. So,
Oh, man.
but do you have anything to plug before you get out of here, JT?
No, that's just it. Hey, it was down at the rivers last night. Nick, took a ride down there. Had some business in the Berg,
Uh
so
huh.
I did an overnight down there. So got to say hello and reach out and touch Acrisure
Hacky shirt.
on the way in and out. But yeah, it's 724 Steelers
Yeah, if you guys aren't
Steelers
a part of
Nation.
that, it's on
Number
Facebook. So
724 Steelers group on Facebook. Yeah, stop by and check us out there. And of course, Steelers Realm, just go to steelersrealm.com. All our video links, social media links, audio, podcast links, all out there, as well as a little bit about us. And we're going to starting to get our blogs going again, too. So stop by steelersrealm.com. We'll be back to once a week again, Bubba.
what
Probably
day you guys go
Probably
do your
Thursdays. We'll probably
Thursdays?
stick with a Thursday weekly one. That way we'll catch the weekly news and then heading into the
Right.
weekend. A little bit
Yeah,
something
I'm
with
gonna
us
do
and
I do
fresh.
Wednesday. Well, I just do Wednesdays now during the off season, and then like when the season comes up, I'm gonna do Wednesdays because you guys go Tuesday. Correct when the season starts.
When Steelers season starts, we usually go Mondays unless there's
Uh,
a Monday night game. Then we'll
Okay,
go Tuesdays.
okay. I
And
go
then we can.
Wednesday. I'm gonna go Wednesday, and then I don't have any. My nephews are all graduating from no more football there. So my Fridays are and I will probably do the Friday show or what all depends. I don't know yet because I got the other Triple B experience, the pop culture
Yeah.
one with that and wrestling. So it all depends. But
Well,
I just
you're
have
always
I just have
welcome to
something.
hop on Thursday night if you got
Oh, well,
anything
thank
going
you.
on too,
Well,
man.
thank you.
Anytime.
Thank you so much. I
Anytime.
love hop. You guys get some, like I say all the time, you guys get some great guests on your show. You guys been doing it for a long time, and you guys got a nice format and stuff like that. So it's I like to spread the wealth out, and I like you guys coming on here, and you guys have an open invite anytime because I'm and I just want to get a couple people says you didn't miss any Super Bowl predictions, Greg, because I didn't make any. And he didn't care. But Chris says it was nice listening, and you guys answered my questions. Thanks, Bubba and JT. I really enjoyed you guys. Thank you, Chris, for
Oh, man.
tuning in.
Appreciate you listening in.
You guys need to, if you guys listen to my show, jump on Steelers Realm podcast and listen to those guys too, because I always listen to them too all the time.
Appreciate it,
And
man. Likewise,
yeah,
brother.
yeah, and it's just great. So you get a different concept when they're all in their studio giving their football expertise. And I know Freight Train does Off the Rails, where they talk right after every Steeler game. And I've been on them a couple times, and I've been off the rails a couple times. But this year I didn't really go off the rails too much because I had to maintain some inner peace, because that first game, first game against Cincinnati, I was having heart palpitations and it wasn't good. So it was, when I saw TJ get hurt, I was like, a little kid in a candy store.
Man.
But before I want to, Craig, I don't know how long that will be. That could be a long time, brother. That's a Super Bowl that everybody would want to see, but I don't. We got to get our boys in the trenches, because the Philadelphia Eagles have a good team. And next week I will be talking to a Philadelphia Eagles fan, Rich Smoke. He's been on the show before, and I told him if his boys get in, we'll do a show. You come on next Wednesday,
and
he will be coming on to talk about the Super Bowl. We'll do a little bit of Super Bowl stuff, but we're going to talk about the Steelers too. So I thank everybody for tuning in. JT, as always, I appreciate you jumping on the 50th double anniversary show here, and we're going to have some more. And I love it when you guys come on, and you guys have an open invite anytime to to come on. And Steele says Chokadelphia.
Appreciate it, brother.
Hey, Mom, how you doing? And everybody that just tuned in, we're going to wrap it up, but you guys can go back and watch the replay if you want to get some Steeler news. That's what I do. I reshare it on my social media, and I will put this downloaded on Spotify so you can listen to me in your car. You don't got to see me. You can listen. But if you haven't, please subscribe to the Triple B Experience, where we're doing the Triple B Black and Gold show. And I also do the Triple B Experience, where I'm talking pulp culture, and also where I interview some people. And coming here next weekend, I am going to interview Donnie Fulmer and Chris Royce, former APWF tag team champions.
Nice.
They're good friends of mine, and Donnie's a coach at Marion Center football, and we're going to talk wrestling. And they are some strong individuals. We're gonna do that next week, and then I'll get it out there. But I just wanted to throw it out there. JT, so much. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for doing whatever, brother. You're a godsend. And like I said, people, listen to Steelers Realm podcast. Steelers Realm podcast, and also tune on there and listen to those guys. I appreciate them, and I appreciate everybody for tuning in tonight. Seriously, thank you guys so much. Like, it's during the off season, you got to pull a lot of Steeler news off the wherever you can, and there was a lot of stuff tonight. But I'm telling you, I'm not without knowing what I'm talking about with the greatest franchise in sports, the Pittsburgh Steelers. So everybody, have a great night, and I will see you on the flip side. So take care, everybody. Peace out, and have a better tomorrow. See you guys.
Peace.